Back here on Busted Open, Dave LaGreca, Tommy Dreamer, Bully Ray, Mark Henry. We're at our amazing, beautiful, phenomenal SiriusXM studios at Wynn, Las Vegas. And I think somebody we can honestly say has been a fan of this show since day one, been a supporter of this show.
Athletic supporter.
Since day one. One of the biggest wrestling fans I have known my entire life. And he is one of the stars every single day at SiriusXM is our man, our friend, our co-worker, Mr. Sam Roberts. Sam, how are you, man?
Happy WrestleMania.
Dude, for those who celebrate.
And I would like to say also, I'm even more starstruck than usual because you know what I was doing on the plane to Vegas last night? I was watching.
Hey, kayfabe, man. What's your business? It's your business.
I had a blanket over my lap.
I got fined for that before.
You too, huh?
Jim Ross fined me $1,500 for that.
Big man, you can't be doing that on the airplane.
I was catching up on a program, and I was watching a certain Hall of Famer yelling at BJ, and it was great. It was great. I love when Bubba gets mad. When Bubba gets mad, Bubba, it's good television.
And you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, Sam, because great minds think alike. I was catching up on LFG on the airplane as well, and I love what Bully was saying. Like, man, you hear it all the time. The health of the people you are in the ring with are in your hands. Like, you're not just thinking of yourself. You're thinking of, you have to think about everybody around you. And I would have to say, Bully, that was a lesson learned on LFG.
Yeah, and it's going to get better on LFG. There's obviously a lot going on. Sam, you saw what happened with that kid BJ. Some stuff wound up on the cutting room floor that I wish they would have shown, because it was considerably worse amongst the other coaches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it really, really was. But, WWE does what WWE wants to do.
Sure.
But, yeah, there's definitely some animosity there. I appreciate you putting me over. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
But I have a bone to pick with you.
Oh,
No.
So you said angry Bubba is your favorite bugger, right? Well, Bubba's angry.
Oh, no. I'm not going to smirk.
Okay, and I love the setup we have here.
Yeah.
Because at the studios, we're sitting up here like the Supreme Court.
Judging you. We're judging you.
We got like an America's Got Talent, an American Idol type of vibe here.
Did you think that was okay what you did?
Did you order the code red?
It's also the old Andy Kaufman bit. Like, you guys are considerably higher up than me.
Yes.
Setting the power dynamic. But go ahead.
So a couple of years ago, me and Big Boss Man Eddie Brasilia having a talk, and we're like, Busted Open is doing so well. What if we did a nighttime show? What if we did a show called Busted Open After Dark, where we recapped what goes on one of the shows?
Oh, I know where this is going.
He's like, all right, Bubba, what do you want to do? What show do you want to recap? And I was like, all right, let's do Dynamite. Dynamite's a fun show, blah, blah, blah. I wanted to do Dynamite. Well, then from Dynamite, we went to Monday Night Raw, which Tommy does, and now we do NXT also, and me and Tommy, switch off. What is your new gig that you're doing after Monday Night Raw?
Wait. Well, we actually just launched a podcast called Raw Recap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, we come on after Raw and do a podcast kind of breaking down everything that just happened. Me and Megan Morant.
Oh, yeah. What a
Man,
great idea.
that's a great idea.
Available wherever you get audio, podcasts.
It goes on
YouTube.
right after Raw.
Comes on after we recorded after Raw.
Well, not only that, but the WWE is doing shows this weekend, and they're calling it WWE After Dark. And I'm like, what are you doing here?
After Dark. We
would never sue.
Oh, no. We are going to do a WrestleMania recap podcast as well.
Hey, look, I'll just take some tickets. Call your people and say, look, we all want tickets.
To WrestleMania?
To the recap.
I'll go.
It's a recap show.
Well, we at the WWE, us legends who are signed to Legends, we get tickets.
No.
So what do you need?
So wait a second here. You're pointing your finger
I don't have a
at
Legends
Sam.
deal.
You're part of the problem, Bully.
How?
Because you're on the payroll.
You're on the payroll.
You're part of the problem. You can't complain. I actually think you came up with the idea and you told them. And you're blaming Sam.
And today I'm here to give you guys my 2-week notice.
Wow.
Welcome, the newest host of Raw Recap.
How do I throw Tommy off my trail? I'm going to blame Sam. That's great.
No, I think there's plenty. Here's the thing. Here's what why Busted Open's so great. You guys are live. It's radio. You could, as soon as Raw goes off the air, you turn on SiriusXM, you can hear Tommy or whoever is hosting the recap to Raw.
That's me.
On that
It's
night.
Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy is on there doing it.
Tommy's the only one that does it. Make sure you get that right. He'll get upset if you don't put him over.
Tommy.
You will not be invited to
In 97, Tommy and Raven had one hell of a feud that you can hear about every Monday night on Busted Open.
An ECW recap.
And then we come on a little later. It's a recorded thing.
After 20 years of wrestling.
And really,
How do you enjoy doing it with Megan Morant?
it's great. She's great. I love that. I love to, somebody like Megan, who for a long time was in that kind of stereotypical WWE announcer position with me at this time, and getting to kind of do something where she gets to become a bigger fan and then just talk like a fan. What did you like about the show? What spoke to you about the show? We can have those conversations.
She was not a fan before.
She was not a wrestling fan before she started working at WWE.
Right.
Once she started working at WWE, she was a fan, but she didn't have an outlet to kind of express herself the way like Dave and I get to as fans. And so to get to talk to her and really kind of break down. And also, I find it great to watch this thing. She's slowly become obsessed the way we all are with wrestling. And so
That's the way it happens.
of course. And then to watch it all through new eyes, though, to see like, oh, I can't believe this. And then I'll hit her with a historical reference and she goes home and watches and she's texting me, I just watched Money in the Bank 2011. I just watched Heyman do this. I just watched, it's really cool.
I love it. And, we always talk about, and, Bully, you always mention that phone conversation that you and I had before you joined the show about Okada and Kenny Omega. I really enjoy the dynamic between her and Sam because of what Sam just said. She wasn't a diehard fan. She's becoming an obsessed diehard fan. That's unlike any chemistry of two hosts that you just don't see that in any
looks
sport.
excited, Dave.
It's you're seeing somebody fall in love with pro wrestling in front of your eyes. And the excitement on her voice. And you two, Sam, I got to say, you two have amazing chemistry together as well.
It's fun. I feel like you said, it's not a new fan like that doesn't have the opportunity to kind of express how much enthusiasm is there. And also, it's kind of incredible to get to do a WWE show with that WWE stamp on it. But it's Megan and I watching Raw at my house, then going downstairs to the basement, recording in my studio, no sort of format, okay, here are the points that you guys should be hitting. They go on and they say, Sam, what are you guys going to talk about? And I go, we'll probably start with this, do that. And then it's like, okay, you guys go. And then at the end of the show, okay, great show. That's it.
Yeah.
We're just fans talking,
All right, I got to ask your opinion.
Does she
on
live
something.
by us, by the way?
She lives in Connecticut. Yeah.
Oh, I live in Connecticut.
Excuse me.
Megan, call me.
Who edits the show?
Your old pal, Alex Metz.
Alex Metz.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, Alex Metz is our producer on that with a bunch of the other guys at WWE, but Busted Open along.
Tell him he's going to get kicked out of the football league.
I will.
So we went to dinner. What was the last pay-per-view where we were all together with dinner with Sam?
It's the Rumble.
So we're at dinner at the Rumble, and you made a prediction when we were at the table. Remind everybody about what your prediction was real quick.
I predicted Jey Uso would win the Royal Rumble.
There you go, and you were right. Now Jay's going against Gunther.
Yeah.
They're opening up the show. LaGreca said that he thought that would be the best spot for them. I agreed. They're opening up the show. That's their Detroit Rock City. It's not that match I want to ask you about. It's something else. The three-way, the main event of night one, Punk, Rollins, and Roman, with the prize to me being Heyman. Heyman is the center of all this. What do you think is going to happen?
In the beginning, I said, oh boy, Seth is kind of where he was at last year, where it's like he's fighting to get into this massive story. Where does Seth fit in? And over the last, literally 2-3 weeks, it's slowly becoming Seth's story. And if you're, all these little sort of Easter eggs are piped in there. When he said best for business, on Raw last week, immediately you're flashing back to the Triple H era, the Seth Rollins with the authority, the chair shot to Roman Reigns back. I think Seth is winning the triple threat. And I would have told you this wasn't going to happen even 3 weeks ago. I was like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I think the idea of Heyman leaving with Seth is likely. And I think it's probably going to happen. And I think that is how I think Roman and Punk then have this amazing dynamic. Roman comes out, and Roman, that character is changing in front of our eyes. If you're watching what he's doing on social media, he never did that. And he's telling you this story of rebuilding himself. He's also telling you the story of a Roman Reigns who's going in to a main event of WrestleMania alone. It's the first time since the Bloodline started, which puts him in a position of, to me, babyface. If you're going in by yourself, I'm going to do it alone for the first time. The main thing that made him a heel was that there was interference in every match. So I feel like Roman and CM Punk come out babyfaces. I think Seth Rollins has a whole new coat of paint on him. I think the best stuff Seth Rollins ever did was that first post-Shield heel run.
That kid's going to have to learn how to sell.
Seth?
Roman.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, it's going to be a completely new dynamic.
When you're used to, like, whooping people's ass.
Yeah.
And then you have to now become a guy that's vulnerable.
Yes.
Like, that's what makes me fall in love with wrestlers. That's what, like, Shawn Michaels and I, for years and years, didn't get along. But when he wrestled, I wanted to go to the ring and help him.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, as a guy that drew you in, like, and Roman has the ability to do it.
100%.
He has the ability to draw you. How that's going to be, how they're going, the latitude they're going to give him, is what I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
As a fan of wrestling, I want to see what latitude they give him.
Yeah.
It's also amazing how this story has been without a title.
Paul is the title.
I know, and that's, it's just, I felt it would have been so much bigger if there was a title on. But Paul and how all of this, and also what has been the major emphasis, the main event of WrestleMania. That, I mean, we're talking about, hey, people getting on the card. This alone, we're talking about, like, the main event not being represented with any title. It's an amazing time.
It also, I think, this is where it's story. So often when a triple threat match is made, especially for WrestleMania, it's, can you imagine if all these big stars in the ring at the same time, and that's the whole story of it. This has become one of those things where the triple threat is essential. You've tied together years of story. I mean, a decade of story between Seth, Roman, Punk, and Heyman. Tied it all together so that whether you've been watching wrestling for a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, like it all on different levels is hitting you. And that to me is
having a moment of clarity.
Separates it.
But,
I think the bacon is wearing off. You just said what if. You know, Marvel did that.
Yeah.
Marvel did the what if series.
Yeah.
Like, why don't we do that in pro wrestling?
The what ifs.
Like the what if, and then tell the whole entire story, and let us see if that's what we would have gone with.
Yeah.
You know, we always preach character, storytelling, psychology. Mm-hmm. And at times, I know I can sound like a broken record because I always go back to it. But we're looking at the main event of night one, where there is no championship involved, where we are as emotionally invested in the outcome of that match. And the match is actually secondary. The physicality almost feels secondary. It's where will Paul Heyman allegiance be, and who will he lead with? Our emotional investment in that is as much as it is for Cody and Cena, or Tiffany and Charlotte, or Io and Bianca and Rhea.
Well, yeah, and I think you're right, because the question in all of those matches is not how's the match going to be, it's what's going to happen. And I think that the best wrestling matches lead with that question.
It's also the ramifications, because I truly believe, and we talked about it last week here on Busted Open, if Roman loses again,
you're right. what's going to happen.
What's going to happen with him? He's the tribal chief.
Yes.
Here's a guy that a little over a year ago ruled the entire WWE. He had it all in the palm of his hand. The championship, the bloodline. The bloodline is now fractured. He's lost that championship, and then he loses a main event match at WrestleMania.
And now he loses Paul Heyman.
And he loses Paul Heyman.
And you think about
Oh, my
it too.
God.
He's portrayed as one of the most invincible characters WWE has ever portrayed for a long, extended period of time. The Undertaker may be there with him, but there's two vulnerabilities. There's two things that he can't emotionally take. One is losing matches. He's a wreck when he loses any match. The other is betrayal. So what happens when he realizes, potentially, that he's been betrayed and lost a match at WrestleMania in the main event?
If Heyman walks away with Roman, it's okay. That's easy. Been there, done that. If he walks away with Punk, it's like, oh, wow, look, he just chose his best friend over his tribal chief, but we've seen this before. Walks away with Seth, wow, oh my God. And I've been toying with this crazy idea, and I know I'm a nut job, but the Brock Lesnar thing. Let's forget about all the other BS with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's contract was frozen. Is the return favor? Do you think there's a chance? There's always a chance in pro wrestling, but do you think the favor is that for a moment in time, Brock's music hits, he F5s Roman, he F5s CM Punk, which allows Seth to get the victory. Brock walks away. We never hear from him again. That's the return favor. Seth and Paul walk away.
I mean, like you said, anything is possible. And would that be one of those moments? Would that get the reaction? Yeah, that would get a mega reaction. But
it'd be the biggest news on Monday.
It'd be the biggest news on Monday. But for me, I feel like I think one of the great things about Triple H doing all these interviews leading up to WrestleMania is that he's kind of explained how his brain works. And when he was talking about people saying what they want to see, what they don't want to see, he was explaining how difficult it all is. That if this happens, and as you guys all know, you make a decision for this to happen, but it's got a ripple effect. And the ripple effect has to be considered. That's why you can't just do everything all at once. And I think that that's what makes the Seth finish so compelling. It's just what you said, Bubba, which is that's the one where there's everything around it is interesting. And everything around it is potential for another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of stories. I think my problem with the Brock thing is, for me, I want Seth to be the singular super villain coming out of that match, and I want Heyman to be as villainous as he has ever been with Seth. I don't want Seth to be the chicken shit villain. I want Seth to be the mastermind manipulator.
All right.
So if there is a favor to be repaid,
Right.
you want to see Paul directly repay it to Seth on his own.
Yes, that Paul makes the decision, like Seth said, you choose. Paul chooses to go, Seth, you're the one getting the favor, and I'm the favor.
I've always said it's going to end with Paul Heyman having a smile from ear to ear. That's how WrestleMania is going to end.
That's what I said.
On Saturday night.
What side is Paul Heyman always on? The winner's side.
He's on the winner's side.
He's on Paul Heyman's side.
That's
I
right.
want to get your prediction on the main event of night number 2. But before we do that, I want to talk about what you're doing this weekend. What you're doing
Right.
tonight. You're going to be at the Comedy Central. The Comedy Cellar
Yes.
at Rio. So talk about what you're doing tonight.
Oh,
here in
thank you
Vegas.
very much. I'm doing a live Not Sam Wrestling podcast at the Comedy Cellar at the Rio. It's WrestleMania season, so everybody's busy. Guests are getting all shuffled around at the last minute, so we had to make a change. We have a surprise guest coming, and I'll say he's in contention for the Intercontinental Championship, and he's my favorite wrestler. And that's all
You
I
ought
can
to
say.
be ashamed of yourself. You give hints like, ooh, it's red, and it's delicious, and it grows out of the ground, and it's got little seeds on the outside.
That's all I'll say.
It's a strawberry.
That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. I'll say we're going to be
Too
joined.
many hints.
We're going to be joined by somebody who's in contention for the Intercontinental Championship.
He's right.
So what time is this you're doing?
5 p.m. Great question. 5 p.m. at the Comedy Cellar at the Rio here in Las Vegas. So if you're
5
in
to
Vegas, it'll be about an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure
I'm
you
just
weren't
glad
running
that you-
competition with Unbreakable. You run competition against
100%
After
not.
Dark with me. All right, I just want to make sure.
No way.
You
Good.
can what
I'm
you
good.
could
I
do.
thought you were going to be in competition with Circa, and then we were going to have
No,
problems.
but you could go to our master's class at
Yes.
Circa with Ric Flair. Go to Sam's show and go to
That's the
TNA.
night. And by the way,
All three.
all of you, as always, you've all been on my live shows before. You guys are invited. I know you're busy, but you're all. I would love to have you guys there.
I'll come to your show if you come to mine.
When's your
Tomorrow
show?
night on the roof after the Hall of Fame, Bully Ray's Rooftop Rocker.
I'm going.
I don't
give a shit what you have to do.
I'm doing the NXT pre-show at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Uncle Bubba, repeat after me. Uncle
Oh,
Bubba.
he got to get up at 9. What time do you think I have to get up?
Yeah.
4.
Do you know what time we have to get it up every day?
Listen,
Whoa.
that's an important gig. All right, before we say goodbye, we just have a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Your prediction for the main event night number 2, Cody Rhodes,
Okay.
John Cena.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Here we go.
Here's why I love this, right? Because coming off of Elimination Chamber, I go, yeah, Cena. Cena walks out with the title. That's it. It's great. What has happened in the last, 3-4 weeks, especially that last altercation between John Cena and Cody Rhodes. I believed it. I bought in. And I said, I listen to my heart in a situation like that. I don't know if you want to know what I think or what I feel. I want Cody Rhodes to beat John Cena. I want that moment to happen. When you look at Cody Rhodes and his giant WrestleMania matches, I'm not talking about the return with Seth. I'm talking about his main events. He's right now, if you count last year as one, whatever. He's won one of them. He lost against Roman. He lost the tag match. He's won one of them. I don't want to see him lose at another WrestleMania. I don't want John Cena to ruin wrestling. And I want John Cena to come back as even more of a hateful, villainous man, because now Cody's taken his moment from him.
And it's easy. You know, like Dave and I both were like, dang, man, if he's going away, it would be good to see him win and get 17, become the all-time greatest wrestler in WWE history. But as a heel, what do heels do? They lie.
They lie.
And it would make so much sense for Cody to win and John to go, oh, you believed it when I said I was going to go home? I got what I wanted. I got an opportunity. And then he can come back and just be more, like you said, villainous and hateful.
He could yell in Cody's face, I still got a lot left in the tank.
Whoa, that's
Wow.
infringement.
I, as a fan of Cody
I
Rhodes,
might have to come out of retirement.
like you, as a fan of Cody Rhodes, I'm nervous going in to Sunday night.
I'm old. I can't
I
read
am
that.
very nervous because I've said it on the show, and the guys here are big Star Wars fans, especially Mark and Bully. I feel like this year's WrestleMania is Empire Strikes Back. Last year was A New Hope, and this year is an Empire Strikes Back.
Because we're talking Empire Strikes Back, all bad news. You're saying Saturday we end Boo Boo Face because Seth Rollins destroyed our favorites. Sunday we're Boo 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 Face because now John Cena's ruined wrestling.
The only happiness is Jay.
And that's why we get it. We get it to start Saturday. They go on Saturday, right?
But to go back to the
Wow.
boo-boo face thing, yes, that is very unconventional for the world of the WWE. But because it has not been done, could it work this time?
100%. And not only could it work this time, I checked into the hotel last night. The first thing the guy asked me was, do you think the ending of this year's WrestleMania, the guy at the front desk, do you think the ending of this year's WrestleMania is going to be better than last year's? I said, that's tough. That's tough. And if you can't beat that feel-good moment that crossed generations of talent, maybe you can do different.
I love
Maybe
it.
you can do bad
I love it what
news.
you just said, because Cody Rhodes beating John Cena is not going to be nearly as big as what he was able to do last year in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
It's impossible. It's impossible.
It's impossible. It was a culmination of years long. It was everything Cody did when he left WWE. It was Undertaker and everybody.
Well, Sam, again, plug what you got going on tonight, please.
Live Not Sam Wrestling podcast, 5 p.m. here in Vegas at the Comedy Cellar at the Rio. I won't say who the surprise guest is, but he might win the Intercontinental Championship, and he's my favorite wrestler.
All right.